Dear 11th class students, today's topic is factual descriptions and it carries 8 marks. This is in page number 23 of your language skills book. So, in your examination, you will be asked to write a factual description of a place, maybe of a place, or maybe of a thing, or of a person, or maybe any great personality, or about any historical monument. So in this video we will learn how to write factual descriptions. Coming to the first slide, description means detailed account of something. Factual, whereas means exact, real, and authentic. So it describes a particular person, place, or a thing. Its purpose is to tell about the subject. So this word description implies a detailed account of something being observed from all aspects, and while as factual means exact, real, and authentic. So basically this is a writing task where you describe a person or a place or a thing. Factually means in reality. So suppose you have anything in front of you and you start describing it, how it appears to you. You can explain it in your factual description, how that particular thing looks like, its shape, color, dimension, features. And like I already told you, there are descriptions of places, persons, and buildings and animals. So coming to its features of factual description, it has to be sequential, unity should be there, coherence should be there, a topic sentence and word limit should be 50 to 80 words, and it is to be written in one para or two. So coming to the first one, sequential. So it has to be sequential. So while writing the factual description, you have to keep in mind that you write the points in sequence, one after the other. There should be a proper sense. You start with a general description and then move to specific details. For example, you are describing a new building and you start with the description of the exterior and then describe the interior. That's, you start from outside and then you move towards inside. So you build around the main idea systematically and gradually from general to specific, in order to have an educate development. Then unit is one of the most important thing in writing. Every point of the factual description has to develop around a single point. Each paragraph should have only one main idea, and all the other sentences, all the other details you provide should revolve around that main idea. Similarly, in a sentence there should be a sense of unity, and you should not digress or ramble. For example, you begin a sentence. For example, you are asked to write a factual description of your school library, and you begin a sentence describing uh, with describing a location of your school library, where is it actually. And then in the same sentence, in the same situation, in those lines, you quickly move to mentioning books present there in your library, different books, science books, history books, or whatever, arts and medical. And then you talk of journals and your library has. So you just shifted from location to the books. So you should keep in mind that there should be unity. Every point of this factual description has to develop around a single point. So make one unified unit without rambling. Then coherence. Coherence is of course very very important in every writing. So coherence should be there, that is, it should make some, so it should make sense through the organization of its content. uh, So this cannot be denied that it's one of the most important quality for good writing. So the flow of ideas from one sentence to the next should be smooth and logical. So this connection, this coherence can be made, or you can connect, or you can connect your ideas by making use of some linkers like first, finally, also, besides, although, in conclusion, for instance, in brief, again, as long as, in other words, certainly, similarly, again, as well as. So there are different linkers with the help of which you can connect your ideas. So basically, these are the glue that holds your sentence together. Then comes a topic sentence. So basically, this topic sentence, it expresses the main idea, what the factual description is all about, and it controls the whole factual description. Um, for example, few descriptions were there in your book, they are already in your book. Like I went through a description, it was there, the television set. For example, if you are asked to write a factual description of a television set, so a description is to be written on it, where you will describe its features, size, color, you will talk about screen, whether it is rectangle, and then you will talk about the remote control it has with it, and then you will talk about the buttons it has for volume or to change channel and for adjusting brightness. So the first sentence should beautifully convey the main idea. It should be presented in such a way that it controls the whole factual description, that it tells about the whole description you are going to talk about. So for example, you write, you begin your sentence like, the television set is one of the most useful invention of modern science, or you say, television is one of the greatest wonders of modern age. So your first sentence, your topic sentence, expresses the main idea, it tells about the whole factual description. Then similarly, when you are supposed to conclude your factual description, the sentence with which you conclude your factual description should be properly written, beautifully written. Like a TV is a best companion uh, to spend the time with when you are alone. So you conclude it beautifully too. Or for example, if you are asked to write factual description of your friend, then you can begin with by this great saying, a friend in a need is a friend indeed. And then you will talk about your best friend, his qualities, talent he possesses, his likes and dislikes, etc., his physical appearance, whatever appears to you, whatever you feel he is like, you can write. So then we have, yes, there are some key points which you need to keep in mind while writing a factual description of a person, maybe of your grandfather or any sibling or brother, mother, father, or maybe of any great personality. So you will first of all mention his or her name, and then you will write the relationship you have with that person. For example, if you are writing about your grandfather or father or your sibling, then you will write down the relationship you have with that person, and then you will talk about social status, the role or the status what he or she has in the society. Then you will talk about looks and appearance, in which you will talk about features, you will talk about his, about his or her face cut, you will talk about eyes, the color of his or her eyes, brown, blue, black. And then you will talk about lips and teeth, and you can talk about hair, whether they are long, short, straight, curly, black, and then you will talk about the clothes that particular person prefers to wear. For example, formal or informal, sari, if you're talking about a female, suit or jeans. Then you can talk about height and build, like you can mention his height, maybe it's 4 or 5 or 6, something like that. And then you will talk about build, means you will talk about you will say about muscular, you will talk about the build of that person. And height you have already mentioned. And then you will talk about complexion, whether the person is pale, whether the person is fair or whitish. Then you will talk about characteristics of that personality, some good points, some good works. And then you can mention views and opinions of other persons too. For example, you are writing on any great personality, and then you can mention some views and opinions given by different scholars or given by different other personalities regarding that person. Then comes factual description of a place. So if you're supposed to write factual description of a place, what do? You write the name of the place, or maybe you are asked to write a factual description of any monument, any building, and you write name of that place. Then you will talk about the location. Is it in the middle, top, bottom, or maybe you are talking about the particular floor? Then you will talk about whether it's in the middle or the top or the bottom. And then you will talk whether it's in front of ABC, behind of that famous building or something like that. Then you will talk about it, is it in the east, west, or north and south. Then you will talk about dimension, that means shape, color, design, stories, that the floors, and the material it is built of. Then you will talk about atmosphere, that's near the place. And you will talk about sites where there are different views in front of that place, and then those views are very beautiful, like that. And then you will talk about history, who built it, when it was built, something like that. You will talk about a little bit history, and then its importance, why it was built. So then you will sum up, and while summing up, you can just do one thing. You can compare with your earlier visit. You can mention like, when I earlier came here it was like this, but now it's like this. So you can compare it with your earlier visit. Then you have some key points uh, to remember for a factual description of a thing or any object. For example, car, TV, or mobile phone. So you will mention the name, structure, shape, whether it's straight, small, big, vertical, curved. And then you will talk about model, which model, and year of manufacture. But if the thing is natural, you are not going to mention the year of manufacture. And then you will talk about color, dimensions, and you will talk about weight, its functions, its features, operational details, and then you will talk about its price and availability. So yes, fine. So, for example, if any topic is given to you and you are asked to write factual description on that, on any person, of any person or place or a thing, you can do one more thing. You can just make a flow chart like this. For example, you are asked to write about a particular card, and you will just make a flow chart like this, and you will do like this. And now you will look here and you will say, okay, what's the type, is it Honda or Maruti, what's its color, whether white, red or blue, what's its size and condition, and year, model, utility, mileage. So this flow chart is gonna help you in writing this description. Like we have this factual description of uh, friend, and then you can make this flow chart. He sings beautifully, then you think of your friend and you make the flow chart likewise. And then it's not that you will just make a flow chart there and the work is done. No, you have to write the details. So this flow chart will basically actually help you to gather some points and you will be able to organize them. So you can make a flow chart like this. He sings beautifully, does well in maths but not in science, never shows off, respects authority, dislikes gymnastics, avoids crowd, is fat and jolly, eats well cooked hot curries, loves ice cream, is a late riser, plays the piano and the violin, always ready to help. So by making this flow chart, you can now easily write down the points in a sequence in a proper order. Then there are some samples of the factual description. For example, factual description of a place. My new home is a title, and you will be writing it this way. Our new home is a lovely 4 bedroom flat. It is on the fourth floor of a. This is on page number 25 in your language skills book, so you can get it there also. So our new home is a lovely 4 bedroom flat. It is on the fourth floor of a suburban colony just outside Udhampur. The whole building faces a large recreational park. We have one drawing room, one dining room, and 2 bedrooms with attached bathrooms. We also have a balcony for the main bedroom facing the park. Our home may not be very big, but it's large enough to accommodate my family of 4 adults and one pet dog. We call our home Shanti Kunj as we love the quiet serenity of our new home. So then the other one is there, factual description of an object. It's about the television set. The television set is one of the most useful inventions of modern science, which has enthralled all to its fold. It enables us to see pictures accompanied by speech or music on a small screen. Inside the TV set cabinet box is the picture tube, the circuitry, and the loudspeakers. The pictures captured by the circuitry are projected into the small screen by the picture tube. The screen is generally rectangular and preferably flat as it projects clear real pictures. There are control knobs at the bottom of the front to adjust brightness, volume, tone and contrast, and to change from one channel to another. All these facilities are available in a remote control too. A TV is a pleasurable companion to spend the time with. So you begin your sentence beautifully and you also end your description beautifully. Thank you.